ABC 10 News at 11 starts now.
I have no idea what's going to happen. I'm really nervous.
There's some confusion. Where are we going to watch the games?
That's truly a bummer to hear.
The news having San Diego businesses and Padres fans wondering what's next after Bally Sports San Diego broadcast its final Padres game tonight. Thank you so much for joining us. I am Wale Aliu. This comes as sources tell ABC 10 News Bally Sports' parent company would not be making their contract payment by tonight's deadline. ABC 10 News reporter Ryan Hill is live here in the studio with how some fans and bar owners are reacting to this news. Big news here, Ryan.
Yeah, that's right, Wale. One bar, restaurant, and owner tells us that he's worried about how business will be impacted when the Padres are in San Diego for home games. He tells me that some people can't get into Petco for sellout games, obviously, and that they'll come to his place to eat, drink, and watch the game.
Line to right field.
The sights and sounds of watching the San Diego Padres on Bally Sports San Diego is now something of the past. Bally Sports San Diego, which has broadcasted the Friars games, isn't going to be showing Padre games from here on out.
Well, since I upgraded my Cox cable so I can watch Bally's, I think I'll downgrade my Cox cable. No, that's really a bummer because it's nice to be able to watch all the games at home or in a bar somewhere, you know, socializing.
For the locals, the people who follow the Padres day in and day out, there's some confusion. Where are we going to watch the games?
A question asked and some answers given. Major League Baseball says it will take over the production and distribution of all local Padres games starting Wednesday. MLB adding there will be streaming options for consumers without blackout restrictions, as the Padres games will be streamed for free on the MLB app, MLB.com, and Padres.com until this Sunday.
Well, are we going to have to subscribe to MLB.TV, which I want to say, somewhere in the ballpark of $100-150 a year that most people maybe weren't planning on spending.
According to the MLB, after Sunday, fans can pay $19.99 per month or $74.99 for the rest of the season to continue the streaming service.
I've got TVs that can handle the streaming and some that can, so it's chaos when I have to depend on the streaming. And until we get that system all up and running, it's going to be a challenge.
Eric Tessimer is the co-owner of Basic Bar and Pizza, which is right by Petco Park. He thinks when this will impact business the most is during home games, where Padre fans who can't make it to a sellout game pop into his place to watch the game.
People will be confused, not knowing where to go, or even they may just say, I'm not going to go out today because I can't watch the game on TV. So it's definitely going to affect us.
The MLB also says deals have been made with local cable and satellite providers to carry the Padres games.
Fly ball right field.
Baseball is a game of adjustments. Now Padres fans will have to deal with some change to catch their team.
I still have faith. I'm not going to give up. It's not the Padres' fault. It's probably politics and money.
Major League Baseball also announcing the new channels for locals to watch the Padres games on DirecTV, Cox, AT&T, Uverse, and Spectrum. We have those channels on our website. Reporting live here in the studio, Ryan Hill, ABC 10 News.
At least there are some options, Ryan. Thank you. And our sports director, Ben Higgins, will have highlights from tonight's game, the last one on Bally's. That's coming up later in the show.
I'm missing going in the water a lot, but I also am still really scared when I think of getting in the water.
We have an update tonight on a woman attacked by a shark last November, sharing her path to recovery. This is California State Park officials shared video of a shark you can see there feeding on a dolphin near the same area of that attack, as our ABC 10 News reporter Laura Acevedo spoke to her exclusively after the attack and follows up with her tonight.
Well, Lynn Jutronich has only been back in the ocean a couple of times since her attack happened last year, but not here in the ocean where it happened. Now, she says it hasn't been easy to mentally recover from what happened, but she knows it's supposed to take time.
It's November 4th. I will never forget it.
It's been just over 6 months since Lynn Jutronich was attacked by a shark while swimming off the coast of Del Mar Beach.
Physically, the injury is pretty much healed.
The shark bit her leg, shook her, and released. She swam to shore with the help of a swimming partner.
As I've healed physically, I've had a lot more just anxiety, some PTSD symptoms.
Jutronich says she struggled getting back into the water, dealing with anxiety and trauma from the attack, seeing a therapist to work through it. Her first time back in was in February.
I've been back a couple times. It's been okay. A couple times I panicked and had to get out.
Over the weekend, several sharks were seen feeding on a dolphin at Torrey Pines State Beach, about 3 miles south of where Lynn's attack took place. It later washed up to shore.
Thank goodness the shark didn't do that to me, that it bit the one time. If it had kept coming like that, I don't know what. It would have probably been a very different outcome.
Jutronich says she misses the water, a place she used to go to clear her mind and exercise. It's no longer her place of peace, but she hopes one day it will be again.
Now it's, when I go down there, it's scary, right? And that's normal, and I get it. But it's kind of taken that away too.
Now, after the attack, Lynn did have to go back to the hospital for several days because of an infection, and she wants others to remember to listen to their bodies when they feel that something isn't right. Reporting in Del Mar, Laura Acevedo, ABC 10 News.
Let's bring in ABC 10 News weathercaster Melissa Messiha. Melissa, the beach is obviously not the best place to go right now because of May Gray, but when we were looking at images earlier, we did see some people who don't mind this weather and going to the beach still.
Yeah, people still like the weather, no matter rain or shine, and surfers do still enjoy the water, even though it's cloudy. As we take a live look outside, we've been dealing with the cloudy pattern for days now. I mean, May Gray, that's saying because of what we are experiencing. 61 degrees right now, visibility not an issue, but yes, we are going to be dealing with the clouds again, especially along our coast and inland valleys. We're also talking about a chance of some drizzle to light showers. The best chance here in the overnight hours into the early morning hours. Now we are in for a warm up. We will pinpoint that coming up in your 7-day forecast.
All right, Melissa, thank you. Now to some new developments. 9 teenagers face charges for attacking 3 Marines reportedly from Camp Pendleton. The incident happened last Friday night near the San Clemente Pier. One of the Marines told KCBS they had asked a large group of teens to stop setting off firecrackers. At that point, one of the teens hit one of the Marines. Then several jumped in, punching and kicking them. The Marines suffered minor injuries. The mayor of San Clemente tells ABC 10 News that 9 teens will be charged, 5 of them for felony assault with a deadly weapon. And ABC 10 News follow-up now. The family of a Chula Vista toddler who was hit and killed by a car this week is now raising money for his funeral expenses. This is Josiah Telefoa. His mother was taking him to Play City for his 3rd birthday. He was hit in the parking lot. If you'd like to help, we have a link on 10news.com. Click on the Resource Center. Loved ones of inmates who died in custody rallied in front of Sheriff's Department headquarters after another jail death. A woman was found unresponsive in her jail cell at the Las Colinas facility this week. This marks the 6th in-custody death so far this year. The North County Equity and Justice Coalition is demanding answers and hoping to get the attention of Sheriff Kelly Martinez. The cause is personal for Sabrina Weigel, whose little brother died inside a county jail.
Seeing on the news and articles come out about another death, it just kind of triggers the pain, and I know that that person's going to be fighting for answers for a while.
The group says it has a solution to prevent more jail deaths: enhanced security checks. We reached out to the Sheriff's Department about today's demonstration, but have not yet heard back. Sheriff Martinez has previously said she is focused on making necessary improvements in county jails. The suspect in a deadly shooting outside the downtown Central Library was denied bail today. 21-year-old Kenneth Cheney pleaded not guilty to several charges, including murder. The judge, as you can see there, asked that we do not show his face. Police say Cheney shot and killed 20-year-old Trey Walker last week after an argument over a backpack. In court today, we learned Cheney is accused of shooting 3 people rather than just 2, as previously thought. Cheney faces life in prison if convicted. Some students in Carlsbad say they will not stop until their message is heard. A few hundred students walked out of class this morning in protest over a school board decision to delay a vote on flying the pride flag. They are showing support for LGBTQ+ students and staff and protesting the school board. The students are upset about the board's decision to put off voting on flying the rainbow pride flag during Pride Month. The board held an emergency meeting last Thursday, you may remember, but at the end surprised many when they said the district has no policy for flying flags and it would need to come up with one before okaying the pride flag. Students say they are just disheartened and disappointed.
They delayed the vote because they're voting selfishly for themselves and how they view it and how they see it, but they're not voting for the students. If they knew how many students support this, they should have truly voted on it.
It's just about love. We're not asking for anything else, and it doesn't harm anybody. It only helps everybody.
The superintendent did not respond to questions about the board's vote, but sent a statement saying the walkouts were peaceful and that the students returned to class when they were over. San Diego streets lined with homeless encampments may soon be a thing of the past. This is because the city council will vote on an ordinance to prohibit them. It would ban tent encampments in many public areas. Mayor Todd Gloria is a strong supporter of the ordinance. He says if it passes, outreach workers and police would work to offer services and enforce the law. Gloria says there are several housing options for the homeless, but some people living in tents say they have nowhere to go.
Like I've called a lot of Interfaith, I've called 211, and they're saying that either they don't have anything or don't qualify.
Many people living in camps like Naomi Harris there tell us they don't know what will happen to them if the ordinance passes. A desperate search for people still missing after yesterday's horrifying building collapse in Iowa. The next steps in the hopes that victims could still be alive in that rubble. And tomorrow, Congress plans to vote on the deal to pay the nation's debts. We're checking with each of San Diego's representatives to ask how they plan to vote. ABC 10 News is back in 90 seconds. Welcome back. Tonight, 5 people are still missing following the partial collapse of an apartment building in Davenport, Iowa over the weekend. Officials are saying 2 of them may be inside. This comes after the city planned to demolish the building today. ABC's Melissa Don has the latest as new rescue efforts are underway.
It's been more than 48 hours since the partial collapse of this Davenport, Iowa apartment building.
The building just collapsed.
In the first 24 hours, more than a dozen people evacuated the building and 8 others were rescued. Then Monday night, another victim was found alive. Lisa Brooks was rescued after she reached her phone to call for help, pulled out of a 4th-story window. The survivor speaking with ABC's Alex Perez following her recovery.
I was just so afraid that I was gonna die and don't see my kids, my grandkids.
On Tuesday, first responders rescuing several animals, but officials say no human activity was detected. The Davenport mayor sharing how 2 more people, Ryan Hitchcock and Brandon Colvin, may still be inside the partially collapsed building. Officials reacting emotionally.
We're very sympathetic to the possibility that there's 2 people still left inside.
Officials working on the next steps, which involve demolishing the building they say is in danger of further collapsing. A family member of Brandon Colvin says she fears demolition would risk finding her nephew alive. Ryan Hitchcock's family is calling for the community to have patience.
We don't want to see any more families lose their lives or anybody else be injured in trying to remove that rubble. Let the city do their job.
City officials say they'd previously received complaints about the building and it was undergoing repairs when it collapsed. Melissa Don, ABC News, Los Angeles.
Hopefully those people are found. Well, after recently staying at a home in the San Diego area, Theranos founder Elizabeth Holmes reported to prison today. New video shows the mother of 2 young children arriving at a federal prison in Bryan, Texas this afternoon. The one-time billionaire was found guilty of criminal fraud in 2022 for conning investors out of millions with her false and misleading claims that she could run hundreds of tests on just a few drops of blood. A judge sentenced her to more than 11 years behind bars. The 39-year-old will work in the kitchen for 12 cents an hour and live in tight quarters with other inmates.
She's going to make her bed, she's going to go to her job, and she is going to repeat every day.
Holmes is still appealing her fraud conviction. A judge has ordered her to pay back more than $400 million to the fraud victims. It is not clear how many of San Diego's congressional representatives will support the deal reached by President Biden and Speaker Kevin McCarthy to raise the debt ceiling. We caught up with Democratic Congresswoman Sarah Jacobs today in Chula Vista. She has not officially declared her support, but did praise the president's work on the deal.
We shouldn't have even been in this position. This is funds that Congress has already voted to pass. But I'm grateful that the Biden administration stood strong and protected against some of the worst requirements that the Republicans were trying to jam through, and that they were able to get and secure funding for childcare in this agreement.
Fellow Democrat Scott Peters sent out a statement proclaiming his support for the deal, saying, quote, "No one got everything they wanted, and that is to be expected in a divided government. This deal is a net positive, and I will be voting for it." San Diego's lone Republican member of Congress, Darrell Issa, along with Democrats Juan Vargas and Mike Levin, told us they will not be speaking on the matter until tomorrow. The House is expected to vote on the deal tomorrow night, and it also needs to pass the Senate. The Treasury Department says the government will run out of cash to pay its bills on June 5th. A Sabre Springs 7th grader is still alive in the Scripps National Spelling Bee. This is 12-year-old Mihire Kankapaka. He passed the third round today and will be moving on to the quarterfinals. The quarter and semifinals will be streamed tomorrow and the finals Thursday. You can watch them on SpellingBee.com, Ion Plus, and Bounce XL.
Now, the ABC 10 News Pinpoint Weather Super 7-Day Forecast.
Joining us now to spell May Gray is ABC 10 News meteorologist Angela. I'm sorry.
It's been a long night. It's been a long
Melissa, let me see. I'm reading. It still says Angelica's name in it, but you're not Angelica.
I am.
Melissa.
No, I'm Melissa. Right. Yeah, May Gray is about the extent of my spelling. I still remember the word that I lost my spelling bee. Yeah. It was disappear.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and I felt like I wanted to disappear when I spelt that word wrong. Yeah, the things you remember from when you're a kid. All right, 11:19 right now on this Tuesday night. We're taking a live look over Fallbrook right now. Yeah, we've been dealing with that May Gray for quite some time. And we're going to be dealing with it again tomorrow. As we take a look at our satellite and radar, we are dealing with more patchy clouds before the cloud cover becomes more widespread as we look ahead to early tomorrow morning. Our temperatures right now, upper 50s to low 60s, mid 50s there in Ramona, 53 in Alpine. Our deserts finally cooling down into the 60s, and we are cooling down even more in our mountain communities, 30s to 40s right now. Our 24-hour temperature changed a degree or two difference compared to this time yesterday. And let's show you all the changes that we are going to expect over the next few days. So as we look ahead to the middle of the week, I know I've been talking about that drizzle, light rain. We are going to be dealing with a chance of that again overnight and then into tomorrow morning. So the best chance of it is west of the mountains. I expect along the I-5 early tomorrow morning for that commute. You could be seeing some wet roadways. The accumulation's not expected to be too much, but something you'll be using your windshield wipers for. And then by Saturday into Sunday, we're going to be into the upper 60s. Not quite as drastic for the warm up there. Once you head in your inland valleys, you will feel more of the difference over the next few days. So mid 60s for your daytime highs by Wednesday in your inland valleys. Accumulations for that rain. Overall, less than 1/4 of an inch expected when all is said and done throughout most of the county, except the deserts. The deserts, we're really not expecting much at all. Out of the 60s into the low 70s and then into the mid 70s Saturday into Sunday. We are even anticipating a couple upper 70s by this upcoming weekend. Our mountain communities is still pretty brisk tomorrow. We are going to see some gusty wind conditions, the westerly winds picking up in our mountains and our deserts into the afternoon. The deserts we are anticipating at times between 50 to 60 mile per hour wind gusts. But you see that same warm up there going from the 50s to the upper 70s. In our deserts, lots of sunshine over the next several days, 80s for tomorrow, and then slowly, gradually, we are going to start warming things up into the low triple digits. So heating up there, Wale.
Slowly but surely. Thank you, Melissa. Coming up, San Diego may be home to future NHL players, the local kids playing in one of the most prestigious youth hockey tournaments in North America.
Skycam Views, sponsored by Carlsbad Solar.
4 local 10-year-olds are making huge strides to one day play in the NHL by earning a spot in a prestigious youth hockey tournament. The kids will join the Western Select team. It's an all-star hockey team made up of 16 kids from 12 different states. Together, they will head to Canada to play in one of the biggest tournaments in North America. It's so big, many current NHL players played in this tournament when they were kids.
Our coach said at training camp, he said, if you want to play in the NHL, step one, complete.
That was step one. Playing on this team was no easy feat, though. The 4 San Diego kids were up against 250 other kids for a spot on the team. A 16-year-old sensation makes his debut for the Padres in the minor leagues. That's coming up. Plus, how their biggest inning of the season fueled a Padres comeback in Miami.
Now, tonight's ABC 10 News Sports Report.
Well, what turned out to be the final Padres telecast on Bally Sports, a lightning storm in Miami, knocked the broadcast of tonight's series opener against the Marlins off the air for about an inning. That meant fans back in San Diego missed the second of 2 RBI singles by Juan Soto that helped the Padres come from behind and tie the game at 4. Stayed that way into the 9th. Runners at the corners, nobody out for Xander Bogaerts, who chops a single up the middle off the pitcher's hand to drive in the go-ahead run. Padres would finish with 6. Yes, 6 hits with runners in scoring position. Matt Carpenter added a 2-run double in the first 5-run inning this season for the Padres, who rallied to take the series opener in Miami 9-4.
We know we had our times where we scuffle a little bit longer than we all hoped and imagined. But hopefully it's a sign of things that's going to turn and stuff are going to go our way.
Well, what were you doing at age 16? That's how old Padres catching prospect Ethan Salas is. Made his pro debut tonight for the Lake Elsinore Storm and promptly doubled here in his first at-bat. The top international signee singled his next time up, starting with the Padres envision. It will be a great big league career in a few years. Brian Dutcher is getting 2 key members of his Final Four basketball team back next season. Jaden Ledee today announced that he's withdrawing his name from consideration for the NBA draft and will play his senior season at San Diego State. The forward figures to move into the starting lineup after averaging 8 points and 5 rebounds off the bench last season. The decision comes one day after Lamont Butler also announced his plans to return to SDSU. Should be a very tough team with both those guys back.
Yeah, I mean, they're both thinking about the NBA, and they said, no, we're sticking around.
One more year, yeah.
Make another championship run. Let's see how far they go. Well, that does it for us tonight. At 11, we will see you all back here tomorrow. Good night.